tournament silence.
Anticipation to see what.
Oh, goodness! That ball had a family!
Welcome back to High Socks, Low IQ High Socks, episode 11. Ben is not here. It's me and John today. Welcome back to the show. John, how you feeling?
Feeling good, feeling energized, even though we are doing this even later than we usually start these episodes. The recording process got delayed by us just slacking off and
Slacking
not
off,
doing it.
playing Maple Story,
Of course.
playing some RuneScape, OSRS. Shout out OSRS fans in the chat.
We've talked about this before, what does that Venn diagram look like of old school RuneScape players and baseball fans, because they both take up a similar portion in my brain where it's like analytics and getting the best results possible. And I don't know. I feel like there's something there.
I mean,
Sound
in
off.
general, like RPGs and video games, if people are familiar with them, there's a lot of min-maxing. There's a lot of like crunching numbers, and baseball is very analytical, like you mentioned. And we're doing that. We're talking about the analytics game every single day with this sport. So I think the Venn diagram is I think that
It's
that portion
substantial.
of people. There's a
Yeah.
good amount of people there. I think.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean,
Maybe more
baseball
than
fans aren't the
other.
same thing as yeah, they're not the same thing as an NFL fan. I mean, I would say maybe less so in that category. I think baseball fans tend to be a little bit more thoughtful and statistics obsessed, maybe.
If anything, the football players thinking about like a strategy, like a turn based, like top down, commanding your troops. This guy's gonna go over here and flank him on this side, like a receiver cutting in, getting the ball.
Yeah, the NFL fans are playing Command and Conquer, and they're playing
Yes.
Civilization. The baseball fans are playing RPGs like World of Warcraft and RuneScape.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
I think this makes sense to me.
I don't think it really. I think that what I imagine an NFL fan is playing more like Call of Duty, like FPSs.
I guess so.
Kind of similar. Thinking about movement, thinking about flanking, getting behind the defense, and all that. So
Right, less numbers oriented, more strategy focused. Because I mean, baseball players. That's what the reason you can just pluck a guy from any team and put him on your squad. They're going to be doing the same exact thing they were doing before. In football, you have to learn a whole playbook. You have to learn the cadence of the quarterback. You have to understand how the plays are called, and the coaches and all that. So it's a totally different thing. But baseball, it's like if you have a bat, you swing it and you hit a ball. If you have the ball, then you throw it somewhere, and it should be accurate.
Yeah, it is much more of a hierarchical, like sort of army platoon type of deal in the NFL, where it's very much like you're responding to a commander, the quarterback, and with baseball, it's like you said, it's more individualized, I guess. Because our little league team back in the day, it was not little league. I mean, high school, middle school, whatever. I remember we were pretty bad, and I would just kind of go by, okay, our team was bad, but I had a good game. And I think that's something that you can't really necessarily do in NFL. I guess you could, but it tends to be if one part of the game isn't working, then you're not going to get the receiving yards you would if your quarterback is not, distributing properly or something like that. So it is a lot different. Yeah.
I mean, it's why, some of the best players of all time have never won a World Series. Mike Trout's never going to win a World Series, even though he's a great player. Injury-ridden as of the last couple of years, unfortunately. It just feels like every season something happens, and it's just like, yeah, okay, bummer. But
he just came back, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know if he had like a back thing or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He has a back problem for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
From what I understand. Same with Christian Yelich.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But he just homered off us tonight.
I didn't even see the game. Yeah. The Reds lose the game to the Cubs in Chicago. They lose the first game. That was in Chicago. Yeah. The first game of the series, Milwaukee. We're a few games under, three games under, 4 games under
Yeah.
500. This is getting to the slippery slope time of year where we were saying a few episodes ago, like we don't want to ever be like, okay, 10 games back, looking
Yeah.
up at the standings, and it's
Right.
kind of going that direction. Ben mentioned it. We're facing the Yankees this month. We've got the rest of this Brewers series. We got the Twins
Yep.
we have coming up. So it's going to be a tough month.
Another divisional matchup with the Cardinals, who are performing better as of
Yeah.
late. I mean, sorry, my
Yeah.
headphones came out for a second. You can kind of say that about every team in the NL Central, besides the Reds and the Pirates, is that they're performing better than they were at the start of the season, or they're overcoming their expectations. Basically, Cardinals had a really bad start. Brewers didn't have a great start either, and they're improving, winning games. Brewers just won their 8th straight against the Reds tonight. So they're cooking. They have something that we don't have, and I feel like I don't feel like we're gonna dwell on that fact tonight.
No.
We've been kind of I think everyone's aware of the state of this team at this moment.
Yeah. Well, there's some big news outside of the losses that we've experienced recently and the upcoming impending schedule that looks to be a bit of a disaster for Reds fans and for the team. We said goodbye to Alexis Diaz this week.
Yeah, that was. I mean, are you surprised by that?
I am actually surprised by that. Yeah. I think the writing was it might have been on the wall with him being DFA'd. It's never a good sign when you're a veteran pitcher or a veteran player and you get sent down. But I felt that like maybe there would be another chance for him with this team. Maybe he could work it out and come back up. I don't like the trade.
Mhm.
If the Dodgers are seeing something in him, I mean, by all means, he could be, in their system and then just be cut at some point. But if the Dodgers are seeing something in this veteran pitcher, and they think it's valuable to lose, like I think it's their top 15, 14 prospect, which isn't significant, but if they're willing to get rid of a young talent for this guy, then I think they probably see something worthwhile in Diaz. It is a bit surprising to me. I kind of hate to see it happen this way.
Yeah, but if you're the Dodgers and you are the team that you can pick up a guy like a struggling Alexis Diaz and just see what happens. I mean, he's not going to have to like be forced in this a closing position or a relief position by anytime soon. The Dodgers are just stacked. They have everyone they need. They have all the money that they could ever want to spend. So I feel like they just see him. Hey, you know what? He was elite just a couple of years ago. Let's just see what happens. Let's see if we can like fix some problem that he's been having. Let's maybe our guys see something that the Reds guys don't. But I don't think I'm that surprised by it either. Um, I'm a little like underwhelmed by who we got. Like it's just a prospect. It's no name. It's no one that we can use right now, which is kind of what we'd hope for. Especially when we see defects in the relief pitcher position. Um, it's just kind of like, all right, what's this guy gonna do for me now? I see the struggles of this team, and it's just this is not a solution. But I think it was time to move on. So maybe that's the best we could have gotten.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he would ever return to the closer role, but certainly you think that a veteran pitcher like him could find it and come back in some kind of setup way, or try to work his way back up to becoming the relief pitcher that we think he can be. Mike Villani, that's his name, pitcher we got from the Dodgers. He's 22 years old. Don't know anything about him, but I think you hit on a good point. It's like I think it's a little frustrating because we want things to happen now, but this is definitely kicking the ball down the road and saying maybe he can help us next year. It seems like Terry got all the support, or Kral got all the support from Terry on this trade. It seems like Terry was vocally saying that it was time to move on from Diaz and wish you the best type thing. So I guess if Terry's aligned with it, maybe that's something that we just have to say, okay, we got to trust that and trust that process. But it is frustrating because it means we're not getting help now when we really need it in the pen. We're getting help a little ways down the road.
Potentially. There's no guarantee in any trade, of course.
With any prospect too, yeah.
The Dodgers could have just wasted their time with this. But
we'll see what happens.
I think they went far enough with this guy where any more it would have been egregious to a Reds fan, and any less we would have said, like, let's get him out on the field one more time to see if he can prove himself again. So I think they found the perfect moment to make this transaction happen, honestly.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think I was kind of upset about it initially, but now I'm just like, yeah, maybe it was time. Maybe it's no use in dwelling on it, and it's kind of shocking to see. We were just talking about that with Alcantara,
Alcantara. That's how I mean,
how do you say that name?
Sandy. It was Sandy.
So we're talking about this in the MLB. Like a lot of these pitchers, they just kind of fall off. Like, or not just pitchers, but like a hitter might just fall off, and you're just like, what?
I think of Tim Anderson. Tim Anderson is the ultimate fall off guy.
Perfect example. I mean, and so that's what happened to Diaz, and just I don't know. Maybe he finds it, maybe he doesn't. It's a little weird to see an all-star closer, our guy out in the pen, feeling pretty good when he comes out, to traded for a 14th prospect in the Dodgers organization. So
and I don't see the same excitement when I was at the game earlier this year and Pagan came out to close. They did like the same similar, they had the lights dimming and flashing and everyone's getting pumped up. But I swear that Alexis Diaz was the first player we've ever done that with. I can't.
No, Chapman had his whole thing.
Were they flashing the lights too? Because that felt like a new thing.
No, I think that is new. I think Citi Field started doing that in a big way this year, and I think because they've got other Diaz over there that does really well. So I think that maybe that the baseball in general has tried to elevate that moment a bit. But Chapman had it. Chapman had like that bullpen song. I don't remember what it was, coming out of the pen, and they probably did a smokestacks thing or something. So there was always some level of interest when he came out of the pen. Pagan is a new guy on the team. We don't know really him as a character, and we haven't been in the position to really save a lot of games. So I think that's why he doesn't have the same that doesn't come with the same type of like excitement.
No. And he's an older guy in the league too. I mean, he's done well for us. Like well enough for a guy who's been kind of forced in this position. His winning record, his save record is pretty good. He's blown a couple here and there. I know his ERA is not like, under 3, which, would be nice, or like high ones is maybe like, oh, this guy's an elite closer. But I don't know. I guess I would kind of want an answer to that position now. I don't think it's Pagan. I think everyone understands that it's not Pagan. So I would like to see them with that trade maybe add a little money into the pot or add another player to package him to see if they can get anybody. I don't know. Maybe they have their eye on someone.
It wouldn't be. I don't think it would be worth it right now to tackle a closer role when there's just so many other issues with the pen that's not Pagan. So I think it would be. We don't want to lose Pagan and potentially like another piece just to get a closer when we can't even get to the point of the game where we can close it. So I think focus on, if we're at the trade deadline, focus on getting some bullpen help. Focus on maybe one hitter. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to rehash all this again, but
No.
I mean, more pitching news for the Reds. Wade Miley opted out of the contract. The second stint of Wade Miley was not to be, unfortunately. I was kind of looking forward to that just from an interest level. And he seems like a great guy. I mean, he was good for us when he pitched in 2021.
Something like that.
I don't remember.
He's around for a little bit.
There was no way that it was going to be sustainable for him to come to the Reds and get a starting job unless there was an injury. But even then, like there's a lot more starting pitchers, rookies even, that could come up and probably do a better job than 40-year-old Wade Miley.
Yeah,
38-year-old Wade Miley.
I mean, good luck to him, but I don't see any other team giving him a better opportunity, honestly, and it's sad to say. But hey, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he can impress the right people and get a starting position, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah, me either.
Kind of like a no news for me, you know, with Wade Miley. It's just kind of like okay. I could have expected that.
It's a footnote in an otherwise pretty sad week for the Reds and the team itself, but also our man Ellie De La Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you wanted to talk a little bit about this. I think it's really sad.
Just with his the sudden news of his sister passing. First thought is obviously like, well, he's not going to play the next game. You know, like he needs to have his moment to like see his family, but he insisted on doing it, and it sucks that it was in a losing game, but he hits a pretty cool 2-run home run. Yeah, just to like, and you know, all the articles come out like, you know, he did this honoring his sister, and it just reminds me of like Lorenzen's home run when his dad passed, and how like that's just like one of like those cool moments. And you know, Lorenzen's still in the league, but like I always see him as a Red, even though he's bounced around a lot. And that was just like a cool moment for the team. And he was like the only other guy. That was before Ohtani popped off, really, in the dual, you know, position player, and he was hitting home runs after he pitched an inning. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, he broke a Babe Ruth statistic, and this was before Ohtani kind of got into the league, I think, where it was like the only player who's been an outfielder and a pitcher in the same game since like 1931 or something.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So it was a pretty funny thing, but yeah, going back to Ellie, he got a 92 mile per hour cutter on the inside of the plate. He was batting lefty. I saw some comments that said, "Was that a meatball?" You know, I don't want to take away from the moment because it's all speculation, but I just read a lot of comments saying, "Yeah, the good for the pitcher for giving him something to hit in that moment. He probably knew." And I'm like, "Did he know?" Or I don't know. That's how I thought with Jeter when Jeter got his last hit as the Yankees. With the Yankees.
Right. Is that like
it was like piped right down the middle, and it was like the walk off.
It was a walk off like double or something like that.
Single.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know if there's anything to that. I mean, I know a lot of people like to speculate, but I don't know.
I mean, if it were to happen, it would be in a game where the team is comfortably ahead of the Reds, and they're like, yeah, whatever, let's just throw them one. I don't know. I'm not into the like. That's not quite the territory as the NFL is scripted kind of thing. But it's like
NFL scripted.
I hate that, dude. I hate that so much. Yeah, no, all these guys are just playing along. I mean, like, yeah, we're gonna lose. Like, think if you're the Lions a couple of years ago or the Browns. You're like, yeah, we're gonna lose every single game for 2 years. That sounds like a great idea. Glad I wasted all of my life to become this professional athlete at the highest level. But no, I'm gonna, lose these games for money. You're already making money. What are you talking about? I just don't.
Yeah, I got kicked out of the group chat for insinuating that the NFL was scripted one time. Remember that?
We kick each other out of the chats for many reasons.
But if we're just let's tackle this. But I don't think most sports is scripted. I mean, I don't think any sport is scripted. But I think that I mean, yeah. Well, like if you think about like if you're saying the sport is scripted, you have to understand how insanely unrealistic it is for all of these thousands of like staff and players and personnel and agents and owners and blue collar workers who are like putting the tarp out or who are like who are doing grounds crew on in the stadium, keeping this a secret
Mm-hmm.
as in a mass conspiracy that involves thousands of people, cover-ups. Like it would be unthinkable, right? I mean,
It would be harder to do that than to cover up some government secrets. Whatever's in Area 51.
100%.
Like people could
Yes.
find that out way easier than all these professional athletes and like crew members and workers keeping this big secret for what?
Yes.
For
I
what
mean,
purpose?
we know more damning things about like our government or
Sure.
like the NSA leak that happened 15 years ago or whatever.
Hmm.
Like knowing that damning information, but we don't know for certain that the NFL is scripted or not. Like
Right.
that like how would that be so buttoned up? It just doesn't make any sense, and it's also just ridiculous. But aside from that, there's obviously ways that you can control games. Not necessarily like you want to pool for someone to win or not win, but perhaps it's something more innocuous, like I don't know, like a referee likes one of the players.
Yeah.
And
Subtle
he tends to give him
biases.
some bias or some
Mhm.
little moments, and there's probably executives who hope the Chiefs get to the Super Bowl. There's probably people who are invested in the league that hope it's like a Chiefs versus like other big team, whatever.
Another Chiefs Eagles,
Yeah, like,
rematch.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we think that like working at some of the companies I've worked at, we all sort of hoped that like the Yankees, for instance, would go to the World Series, and I think MLB would like to see the Yankees in the World Series and all that. So it's
Mhm.
not fixed, but there are biases, of course. So that's the
Yeah.
long-winded way of talking about this.
If this World Series is not the Yankees Dodgers, then for the MLB, that's a wash. Like better luck next year. How many more years are we gonna have Judge and Otani at the peak of their powers? Like Judge continues
So
to get better somehow. Like
I
I thought he peaked maybe 2
yeah
years ago when he was going after that home run record. But dude, I don't. He just keeps performing, and I
yeah
was so early, like to say with Otani, like, you know what? There's a lot of hype around this guy, but I haven't seen him pitch and hit. Like, and when he's hitting, he's just okay. And then he had just a breakout year.
two MVPs in a row, right?
What's that?
2 MVPs in a row, I think. Did
Oh,
Otani have?
I think yeah, but like he had that like
Yeah.
one of the last years he had with the Angels. He just kind of broke out and
Mhm.
became this like superstar overnight almost, just
Yeah.
because he started performing. And so the MLB, yeah, they see that like, oh yeah, two of the highest market teams with two of the best players.
They
Yeah,
want that
let's.
shit.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
They want that shit.
absolutely. It's such a high likelihood in my mind that that's happening.
I mean, that'd be kind of. I mean, we can say it pretty confidently at this point. The Reds aren't going to somehow get to the World Series. I
Right,
don't think.
right.
So beside that, I mean, I guess it would be fun to see those two players compete in the World Series together.
Yeah, just like
That'd be,
a Godzilla matchup, kind of like just that
yeah,
like the classic. Hey, what are the playoffs for if not for the best teams to face the other best teams? So
yeah.
in that respect, yeah, it would be fun to watch, and I'd watch it, and I'd care about it, and I'd be rooting for I don't know, I guess the Dodgers.
Dodgers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, they're more a likable team. I don't
I
know.
can't do Yankees. I just
Yankees
can't.
fans just that
I
you know
can't.
what
I
Yankees
can't.
fans come at me
Yeah.
like I don't know,
Yeah,
but
fuck you guys. I'm just kidding. I was just kidding. We like the Yankees. I love Judge.
sure. Hey, they got
Whatever. I mean, I can.
they got Booney up there, you know.
He's on his. I can't see him if he doesn't get anywhere this year. I think he's on his last leg as manager.
Maybe he's been there for a while now, man.
He's been there for probably close to 10 years, maybe.
I'd say at least 10 years, at least, right? Feels like he's been there forever. But
any more news? Did you have any more news scratched out on your little thing there?
yeah, my little thing here. See what we got here. I think that was really the big.
That was
notable,
the news.
That's really what's going on. Oh, what? We're not going to talk about like
no
the losses again. But I was thinking about one thing. So we can go two different directions. I feel like I'm going to take a break from the real talk about like performance. You know, I don't want to talk about how the players are performing. I want to talk about how the stadium is performing. Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's right. When Alexis Diaz came out, or Pagan comes out, they have the flashing lights. They have the fanfare. They have the video board, which does which ball. Where's the ball under which skyline chili, right? Or they have the Mr. Reds race.
Okay.
I'm putting you in charge of events that happen within the stadium during the game, okay? You have to come. What's an event that would help boost attendance? Because we're on average filling up the stadium to like half capacity, at best. That's what we're working with, like 50% capacity. We need to get that up. We're not paying for the players, so what are we gonna do in the stadium to make it? Just the attendance, get the fans in the seats.
I think there should be, in the spirit of gambling, which seems to be the theme of this year, I think that we should do like a golden ticket scenario with the fans. So whether that's like balls being thrown out that are all wrapped in like tin foil or some sort of like paper, and then you open it up, and if you get the golden ball, you get some prize. Or maybe it's like your ticket, you scan your ticket, and maybe their little receiver like flashes or something like that, and you win a big sweepstakes or whatever.
I like this
golden ticket idea where every time you go to the park, and maybe it's everybody who goes into attendance, maybe it's not just people who catch the ball in the stands, maybe it's everybody who goes to the park. Basically, you get an item or some sort of image that indicates you're like lucky or you have the golden whatever it may be. I think that would be a really cool way to add some anticipation. And maybe there's like 10 people out of the 35,000 or however many people are there. So I think that would be really fun. And maybe it's even more active. Maybe it's like if you buy a beer or like if you buy a cheese coney that day. And I'm just giving them marketing.
Now you're getting conniving. Now you're getting like, yeah, let's spend your money to and maybe you'll be lucky.
Yeah.
I was good after the first beer, but now that second one's sounding extra.
Hey, this is your industry, baby. Let's go.
I mean, we're talking my world here for sure.
We're talking shop, baby.
I do wonder the logistics of, because that is like is it a sweepstakes? So that's like totally fine. Like anyone can enter a sweepstakes if it's a golden ticket kind of thing. So that might be fun. That might be okay. Now, buying a beer to get rewarded, I think that's maybe murky waters that we're treading in.
I mean, I don't want it to be as simple as like check your ticket number for the prize or like the what's the fucking thing called where you buy the little things?
Well, like a scratch off?
The lottery thing they do in the stadium.
Oh, the split the pot.
Split the pot, thank you. Split the pot. So I don't want it to be as simple as that. It needs to have some sort of like tangible thing that you can receive and then unwrap or like something that gives a little bit more fun to it. And maybe if it's not the golden whatever, it's like still something little fun, like a little souvenir. Like maybe it's like a little squishy Reds helmet or something like that.
What if it's this? What if it's every like 3 innings they zoom in closer to the winner. So it's like, hey, the winner is in like the like section like 2, the 200 level. And so
my
like pans the camera, everyone's like, yeah, I'm still in it. I'm still in it. And then it's like, oh, it's actually in row 122. So like, okay, I'm getting close. Like, let's go. It's my seat. It's seat 13, row S. Let's
Oh,
go.
I actually love that. That's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
And so it's like the winner is in this part of the
Yeah.
stands.
It
And
just
then
zooms in.
you got people jumping in, like they're like
No,
they're on
they
the
need.
other ends of the frame, and they're like,
Oh yeah.
ah!
Yeah. Yeah. Like, that's
Like,
right there, right there. Yeah.
are they stand in front of the winner at the end? They're like, no, I'm here, I'm the winner.
Hey, you gotta have to ticket.
He has to corroborate with the
Yeah, you have to ticket to prove it.
yeah.
So,
That's
I
funny.
mean, that's maybe my idea to
You don't
add
like
on to yours.
okay, so
I do like that.
thank you to kind of return the question to you. What's your favorite like activation you've seen in a
Mm,
stadium ever? It could be baseball, it could be football, it could be what's your favorite event that you've watched? I mean, the sausage races are popular,
yeah.
the pierogi race. Everybody has a race now, so
Yeah, and the Reds experimented with doing an on-field race for like a year there. And it did not obviously last very long. We've been doing the same stupid Reds mobile race on the Jumbotron for the past couple of years where they're like riding in
Reds
those little
mobile.
carts. Yeah, it's
Oh, and they're going down like
like
75 and
this,
shit.
yeah, some like little Spectrum carts or whatever it is. I forget what the promotion is, but it's just like that's not fun. I want if it's on the field, something like Beat the Freeze. Love Beat the Freeze.
I was gonna say that's my favorite.
That's a good
Beat
one,
the Freeze.
man. I mean,
Yeah.
like, because it does happen where the challenger does win because that head start and they're just fast enough to barely squeak by and beat the freeze. But
Yeah, that's a
um,
fun one.
yeah, man, I like that. But I it's not like during the game, but I do appreciate when they have like concerts at the stadium. I think that's a pretty good idea. They even have some
Oh,
concerts after the game where like, hey, like hold on to your ticket because that's also admission to this concert. But the concerts they choose are just not something I care about whatsoever. Some like
yeah,
some country artist,
they
not to disparage country as a genre, but it's just like that's not what I care about. I mean, I saw Green Day at the GABP, not after a game, but like it's
right.
like yeah, it's like cool. Like oh yeah, getting down to the stadium again. It's fun to like be here, and yeah, it makes me like want to see a game now and check out the areas around here because we have a decent
Yeah,
like little area to walk around
yeah.
before the game. If you want to grab a drink
Thanks.
or something, check out the river.
Yeah. Wow, so many things are going through my head from this now. Um, yeah, they had Snoop Dogg in the stadium after a game recently, I think.
They
And then they had
did.
like some yeah, or maybe I'm thinking of someone else, or maybe that's gonna happen. I don't remember.
Mm.
They had some other random artists that I was like, "What?" It was like some 90s DJ.
They
I
have
don't know.
Train coming. I know that much.
Trained after a game?
I think so. Yeah.
That's cool. I do think that stadiums, this is soapboxing a little bit. I'm going to step on my pedestal and say that
Mhm.
stadiums that are funded by taxpayers need to have more free events and
Mm.
more discounts for people who come into the stadium because I don't know, like that's publicly funded by Hamilton County. There should be community events there that the
Yeah.
public can benefit from. It shouldn't just be the businesses that create, have a place to have a drink or go to a restaurant. Like it should be also the
Right.
people who have paid for that stadium, and maybe there's a free concert someday, guys. You
Yeah.
know, maybe there's like a field day or like a games day or just some community. Maybe there's a free meal they can serve to the less fortunate, the people who need
Mhm.
like some maybe a gourmet like steak dinner for like the unhoused or people who are needy.
Yeah.
Something that can benefit the community because that's always stuck in my head. Like this is publicly funded. We should be able to do a little bit more with this rather than charge you X amount of dollars for a Reds game or a concert
Mhm.
every single time, and then not get the benefit of using that stadium if you can't buy a ticket. So,
Yeah. I mean, I know you feel this especially because living in New York, your taxes are going towards the Bills stadium. which is not close to New York City whatsoever. And so, but you were the ones paying for it, not the Jets and the Giants because their stadiums in Jersey. Like it's just that gets me pissed off. Like it's bad enough that Hamilton County residents, like, and I was one of them when I lived in Hamilton County a couple of years ago, that I was paying taxes on that. But at least I like live by the city, you know. I can
Yeah.
drive there pretty easily.
Yeah, it's robbery. I mean, we've talked. This is a theme that keeps coming up with these owners who are billionaires and they have a bunch of money and then they make the public fund their stadium. And it's like, so what am I going to benefit from this Buffalo Bills stadium being built like what 5-6 hours away from me? I'm not going to.
It's going to stimulate the state economy.
Oh yeah.
Sure,
So this is becoming something else. But what I mean to say is like, yeah,
no, but that is
bullshit.
like the only reasoning that they have, which is like, even if that is true to some small extent, I mean, there's nothing tangible there that the average person I'm talking like I'm still in marketing mode. I'm still in promotion mode. If I tell every Reds, fan who goes to a game, like everyone here, you're like collectively gonna get like 0.00001% off your next gas purchase at UDF. It's like, okay, great. Thanks a lot. But if you give me a t-shirt, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm in. Let's go. That's all I want.
How about this? You'd be able to write off a portion of your like state taxes or your local taxes, and like all of those Reds games that you went to can be like expensed like meals for like a client dinner or something for your company. It could be like entertainment purchases are like double the discount or something in your write-offs every tax year. I don't even know how the fuck they would be able to implement that. But I mean, like they used to have that property tax thing, but then I think that the Castellinis and the Reds screwed the public because it was like there was some, I can't speak on this holistically, but they had some sort of incentive for homeowners in Hamilton County, which is obviously one demographic of people. But those property taxes were supposed to get some sort of benefit, and not just because of the commercial real estate that was coming up next to the stadium. It was supposed to be an actual tangible percentage or number that homeowners were supposed to get in return for funding the stadium. And I think the deal just didn't work out in the favor of the homeowners for some reason or another. It just wasn't completely fulfilled. And I mean, someone smarter than me can speak on this in the comments and correct me where I've made mistakes, but that was the gist of what I remember from it. And that deal was obviously already lopsided to begin with. It's one of the worst stadium deals with Paul Brown Stadium at the time too.
Sure.
So, very predatory type stuff. But here's your promotion, Reds. Take it for free.
Yeah, I think it'd be good. Last Red standing. Maybe that's too communist, but maybe you can do like last fan standing or something like that, It's the battle royale of going to a baseball park. There you go.
Yeah.
The kids will love it.
Something. We can get more creative with our stuff, especially with a team that's bad and there's really not much to do except go to the stadium if there's a Tyler Stevenson bobblehead. That's happening this week.
It is, yes.
You got what's the next thing? What do you got?
This next one, this is like let's get serious for a second.
Oh, okay. We got pretty serious already. About
but not about the Reds. We're just talking about stadium logistics and tax write-offs.
Oh, we're still talking about stadiums?
No. We're talking about the player that maybe they're not doing terribly this year, but who do you think is the guy that's just underperforming the most to his ceiling? Like, he could be, like, we've seen them be so much better, or we think they could be so much better, but they're just not doing it. And I could open it up to, all of MLB if you want to do that. But one of the guys on the Reds is like clear to me is Matt McClain, of course. That kind of goes without saying. But to a certain extent, like I wonder if people would agree that Ellie is in that boat a little bit, just because maybe some of the expectations around him were too high. I think Ben was talking about this last week, where we are just seeing this kid as the coming up, the second coming of Christ, and he hasn't proven that so far. He's proved to be an excellent ball player, but there are several rungs between him and a Juan Soto type, right? Or or an Otani, of course, or whatever. So, who do you think? Do you agree with that one for Ellie? Actually,
I do. I don't think he's at the same productivity he was in steals as he was last year, and I think that overall his OPS is down, his average is down, his home runs are down. So, and obviously we've had some fingers to point at him at shortstop in
yeah,
some
I was gonna
low
say
moments.
he's made one too many errors to the point where I'm like, let's just like move this guy to right field at a certain point. At a certain point,
Yeah.
I'm not saying now. I'm not saying like this season or anything like that. But especially as a player gets older, if he's not working out, if he's making too many errors, he's got a cannon of an arm. We could always use a guy like that and right, you know? So,
Yeah, I wonder if he could play center.
yeah,
I don't know if they would put him in that situation. Obviously, you don't just go from the infield to center field and have a easy way about it. So there would be
right.
need to be some that would need to be scheduled into his like training and his fitness, and that would be a whole process probably. But yeah, right field. I mean, Nick Castellanos played right field, and he was probably one of the worst right fielders I've ever seen.
Anyone
So
can do it.
I think Ellie can do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They just stick
but
all those guys out there. Doesn't matter if they swing the bat well, and if he runs the bases, then who cares? Just catch the ball. Maybe make a
yeah,
cool play at home every like once in 3 years.
the assist we'd see from the outfield would be sick from Ellie.
Hmm.
Actually,
Yeah, man.
that would be
Yeah,
really
man.
fun.
I know he
I
can
mean,
do it.
Tatis moved from shortstop to
Yeah.
outfield. I think
Hmm.
did Baez move? Who was the other infielder that just recently moved to outfield and it wasn't going too well for them? It was like a big name.
Not
Can't remember who it
Lindor.
was. Not No, Lindor
No.
is one of the best. He's the best
Yeah.
shortstop in the league.
I don't know why
Probably.
I'm thinking I don't know why his face popped up to me for
I think
whatever
it was.
reason.
I think it was Baez. Was
Okay.
Javier Baez? I I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember who it was, but I mean, sometimes it works for players, and
Mm.
I don't think we're at that point with Ellie. I think that he's actually. I think he gets a bad. I think he gets a bad rap for shortstop. I think he had some very bad errors, and he had like 2 or 3 in a game recently,
Yeah.
a few weeks ago. So yes, that's really bad. But I think he's in general like been slightly above average, especially last year. I think that last year a lot of
Mhm.
people were pointing at him being like, I don't know if he's the right shortstop. And he's like, well, his percentage of putouts is like super high. I don't remember what the exact statistic was, but
Yeah, I think there's something where like the skill and power that he has to make some of those plays happen. Like when he makes a play, he can make a spectacular play,
yeah,
and
that's what
and
it was.
and,
His
and that
range,
supersedes the errors that he would make on occasion. So I get
yes,
that point.
yes,
I just we're just making projections. We're just thinking about like what's going to happen in the near and far future, and if especially as someone ages, which is not going to happen for him anytime soon. He's a young player, but I could see him later in his career moving to right, moving to outfield. It's going to happen eventually, or he's too talented to just DH. I think you got to put him out there
I agree. I
somewhere.
definitely agree with that. Yeah, I don't think he should ever DH. He's too fast. He's too lanky.
Hmm.
Should be able to play. I mean, yeah. I mean, I could see it. He has underperformed. I would say Spencer Steer confidently.
Hmm.
as the player who's underperformed the most, because Ellie has fallen off just a little bit this year. That can always change. McLean, I said it before, we only saw him play like 80 games ever. And then everybody was like, we're going to have him in this lineup and we're going to have him back. That's going to be huge for the Reds. I mean, is he ever going to be that player again? Is he still injured? Is he still dealing with some shit? It's just taking longer for him to get back in the game? All those are questions that will be answered later. But for right now, I think Steer has just completely disappeared as that kind of force in the lineup. I think we used to rely on him. Is this his third year with the Reds?
Yeah, he's been around for a little bit now, enough that he has his own commercial for a local company.
Pull it up.
Pull it. That's all right. But especially after he had such a great season just last year, kind of like a surprise breakout player, kind of catching a lot of eyes and making me excited, making a lot of Reds fans excited. It always comes down to this question of, do we just get lucky with the one guy popping off at the right time to make a good impression, but no staying power, and that's kind of like who the kind of guys that the Reds organization relies on a little bit too much. It's like, hopefully this guy is just gonna have a good season. They don't always. They're not consistent, but they've shown flashes, or they might show a flash here. That's definitely Spencer Steer for me.
He was Rookie of the Year 6 in 2023. Spencer Steer.
That's insane.
He was almost a 3.0 WAR that year.
Wow.
And this past year he was 1.5 WAR, 158 games, and this year he's rocking below 0, negative 0.2. He's just, I mean, he was never going to be like a big name in the league, but at least you would expect him to keep up that type of career, like a 1.5, 2 WAR every year. Maybe hit a little higher OPS than he is right now. I mean, his OPS this year is 0.618. Bad, really bad. He's probably playing one of the worst. That's got to be one of the worst on the Reds, if not the worst. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, Steer, McLean. I don't know what type of player he is anymore. It's hard to say.
That's a really good point.
He'll find it. I think Ellie will find it. Eventually.
I think so too. McLean, I'm losing my enthusiasm for with every passing week, honestly, and that sucks because I was like, I was like hype on him 2 years ago. I was his number one fan. It was awesome. Yeah, he was great, and I truly believed him. To the point where I put a $1 bet that he would win Rookie of the Year. There's no chance of that happening though.
Was he top 5 that year?
I didn't.
No, I feel like he only played 80 games.
Yeah. But I think I did that. Regardless, I'm starting to now think that maybe he just had a good stretch there, and it just happened to be at the most pivotal time to make it a good impression on the team that you're now playing for.
Damn, he's so bad this year.
Yeah. I know.
Damn, I didn't know how bad that was. He's batting 175.
Yeah, man. That's up.
He has below OPS. He has a lower OPS than Steer at 0.564. I don't know what to say. That's bad.
Yeah, and I mean at this point, we're in June. It's well past the stages of it's early in the season. I mean, we're getting good looks at these guys now for a couple months here. So I don't know what kind of leash we have on guys like Steer and McLean, but we also don't really have that many other options. I mean, maybe CES is going to come back. eventually. He's still batting in the minors, so he might be
Yeah.
back here momentarily soon.
I saw that he's almost ready.
Yeah, but I mean, what he's he's the same kind of guy as McLean and Steer are this year. CES has been kind of fluky, has a good stretch for a little bit, and then just kind of falls off. And he's been injured a handful of times as well. CES has. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like before, maybe last year. It's like it's still too early to see what kind of player he is. If I'm being generous, now it's starting to become a little bit more clear. I just don't know what's the answer. We're holding on to these guys too long at
Yeah.
this point. Their shelf
I
life
mean,
is not that sustainable.
yeah. I guess once the season ends, we can get a good read about who is going to stay on this team and who is not. I mean, there's going to be some big decisions I think happening at the end of this year, and right now it's just like, can they adapt to this new manager? Can they gel together when everybody gets healthy? What's the All-Star break look like for the Reds? Are we in a 500 position or a little bit lower? So I think that all of those questions about these players will kind of come to an end or come to a resolution by the end of this year is what I'm hopeful for, because I think Terry is going to evaluate them to the most honest degree he can. I mean, we've seen him already make some pretty big decisions on this team,
Yeah.
namely like saying we don't need Diaz. We're not going to use him. That's huge. Candelario might not get that many more. I mean, he'll come back, but he won't get that many more looks with this team. So those decisions, I think, are coming down that gauntlet, and I think that all those players probably know it at this point, considering this year has not been good.
Mhm.
So yeah, we might not have a Steer, we might not have a McLean. Who knows? I mean, these guys are still in their rookies, so
Yeah, we'll see what kind of. I mean, if they're gonna trade them off, I don't know what kind of value they're gonna have, and that means you're not gonna get a replacement level player for those trades if they're still not being valued high, and if I just don't understand who are they gonna replace them with. That's the thing. Sure, if Terry's willing to say, yeah, let's pull the plug on these players. But the guys upstairs are saying, we got $5, what do you want to do? It's either these guys or you take a chance on some other kid who's going to have the same set of problems at a higher likelihood. Most of these kids don't make it very far. And Terry's going to have to say, like, well, McLean's shown that he has potential. Steer has shown he has potential. They're my best bets. Sticking around. And I hope it works out because I like those guys, obviously. But we're starting to drive down this path yet again. It seems of just doom, saying just bad things about this team and trying to wrap our minds around it.
yeah, we're already at this conversation in the year, and I think that you make a great point. These players, we've seen them be better, and then the next best thing is to gamble on a new class of prospects. And that's what this team does. It's going to keep recycling like this and hope that we get like a Jay Bruce coming up and a Homer Bailey for, at least 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Good with the Reds. So yeah, I mean, that's what we're hoping for. We're hoping that I think we know probably that Ellie's the guy.
Yeah.
I think he will be. He'll be able to perform and continue and have some type of career. McLean, Steer, who knows? So we might have to reset, because if it's only just Ellie and Noel V. Marte doesn't really add up to anything, and CES doesn't add up to anything, then we're really not hitting the dartboard really at all.
No.
We're not even in the the inner bullseye.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when we're like putting our chips on these guys that we felt confident in the beginning of the year, like I think all of us were feeling pretty good about having McLean back, and we all thought that Spencer Steer would continue to perform at least adequately. And those are some big bats. And that's not happening. Then the guys that you are like taking a chance on have to pick up the slack, and that's just not going to happen, all the time. That has happened a little bit to a certain extent with Espinal performing above my expectations this season.
It's been
Same
good.
with Marte. He's been performing above my expectations. Um, it's just again not a full studded roster lineup at all. A lot of gaps, and where it's just like you expect this guy to get out at least 80% of the time he comes to the plate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. More than league average for sure.
Mhm.
Espinal's been great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, he's probably our best hitter right now. Maybe him or Hayes.
Yeah. And again, those are guys that like Hayes I was kind of like in on. But Espinal, when I learned that we signed him to another contract, I was kind of like, really? Him? That's the move that we're gonna make? We're not gonna okay, well we'll see what happens. But it's worked out pretty well. Can't complain
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah, I agree. He's one of our best right now. He's still injured, but he's coming back soon.
Mhm.
Did you have something else with the stadiums?
No. No, that was it.
All right. Well, I got something for you.
I'd love to hear it.
This is a new segment. I'm calling "Where Are They Now?"
Oh,
That's
yes.
what's kind of a working name right now. I need to workshop that a little bit, maybe some more creative. So, where are they now? We're going to take a look at a Reds team from a certain year, and we're going to look at 3 players on that roster, and we're going to answer some questions about their lives, post baseball, post Reds, whatever,
Okay.
and see what they're doing, see where they are now. So, I want to start with this. Wait, I don't remember which year I selected. The 2010 Reds.
Okay.
2010 Reds. We're going back to probably the best Reds team that we've ever seen, which is sad. So either them or 2012, one of the two. Probably 2010 because that was the Jay Bruce homer year, and that was really fun. So we're gonna look at 3 players. The first one I want to look at from that team, is our favorite catcher at the time, presumably.
Scott Schebler.
It's not Ryan Hannigan.
Ryan Hannigan.
Ryan Hannigan. Yeah,
I was thinking I had Scott Schebler on the brain earlier today, and I was just thinking about. I was like, I gotta bring up Scott Schebler today.
Scott Schebler became the anxiety of all Reds fans at one point in time.
Man,
it's a tough one.
Yeah, that's gonna be my video essay. It's just gonna be on Scott Schebler. That's
we
what
put
I'm gonna add to the table.
We put so much frustration as fans into Scott Schebler. I just remember it was like, it was that year like we let go of Castellanos and Suarez. I think it was either that or before that when no one was hitting, and Scott Schebler just became the fall guy for all of that. And then I just remember he was like, and he got sent down, he got DFA'd, and like he did an interview with The Athletic, I think, and he was like, yeah, everybody was hitting like shit, but they chose me. They chose me to send down, but everybody else wasn't hitting. I wasn't hitting, so I think that wasn't really fair. And that was the last thing I heard about the guy. I don't know where he is. I don't know what he's doing. He's probably
That's a good question. He's done. He's
probably done, right?
He's been done, I'm sure.
All right, getting back to
Yes,
Ryan Hannigan. Ryan Hannigan, catcher on the 2010 Reds. He was with the Reds for, I think, about 5 or 6 years. Check me on that. Pretty decent catcher, 251 batting average all time. Doesn't hit any home runs. Decent position player catcher.
Okay.
So what is he doing now? Well, Ryan Hannigan is the manager for the Williamsport Crosscutters, which is
Crosscutters?
The Crosscutters.
Okay.
The manager, it's in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. He's a manager of the team. This is his first managerial position in baseball ever. And they are a collegiate summer baseball team of the MLB Draft League. So
Okay.
technically, he works for the an MLB associated team, I guess.
Right.
And here, I had it on here. They won the first half championship of the MLB Draft League and would host the league championship game under Ryan Hannigan's watch.
Good for him, man. You know, that's just the kind of I swear there's like certain types of players that just always end up as like some, coach. For Ryan Hannigan's case, it's a little bit more than like T-ball league or a high school league. But I mean, I've seen a couple guys, or I've heard of a couple guys go straight. I think Scooter Jeanette's one. I swear that like the year after he just said, "Yeah, I'm done playing baseball. That's it for me." He's just coaching some high school team for his, for some family friends or something like that.
I
Like
remember that. Yeah, I remember
he
something like
stays
that.
involved.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool though. I mean, do you think like what is the journey that these guys have to take to make it to like an MLB manager position? Like I feel like Aaron Boone kind of came out of nowhere to me, but I mean I'm sure he didn't. I'm sure he was like batting coach somewhere.
I actually don't know. That's a good question about Aaron Boone's trajectory. I mean, I know he played for the Yankees in 2003, 2004. So he was already a friend of the franchise.
Mhm.
And I'm sure his family, the Boone family, is very big in baseball. I mean, they've been in baseball for like decades upon decades upon decades, like several, probably 50 years. I think Aaron Boone's grandfather was an MLB player, and then his dad, and then his brother, and him. And there's already mosquitoes in here.
That time of year.
We're good. So yeah, I don't know but Ryan Hannigan, I think he's on the track. I mean, if you're going to move up and be a MLB manager someday, I mean, it makes sense to be in the collegiate league, and then hopefully you're like A, double A, triple A.
I mean, it's very unlike football, where like football head coaches, that's slowly becoming a younger man's sport. You see some guys in their 30s with that job. You don't see that in baseball very often. It's a bunch of guys who've been around for decades. I mean, that Ben just showed a clip of Dusty Baker,
Tony La Russa?
yeah, having an argument. Like, but that looks like it was filmed in the Stone Ages, dude. And he was still, he was manager of the Astros just like a scant 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I mean, Dusty had been around, and he still had a job, and he was still someone that a team was willing to pay for. Maybe after their previous manager got fired, but or whatever, he stepped down after the scandal. But hey, dude, you got Dusty Baker, one of the best in the biz, right there.
Yeah, he's we're seeing a lot of those old managers get phased out. Joe Girardi is not an attractive manager anymore. Dusty's done. Terry's probably done in like 5 years tops.
Who was the guy who I'm thinking of? I think didn't he just get fired from the? He got fired from the White Sox. Maybe last year. He's been around. I think he was in Colorado before. It's gonna bother me if I don't know who it is. But that was another old name.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of young people except for Skip Schumacher, Marlins manager. That was crazy. He's like 42 years old.
42 is the youngest, you think?
It's got to be close. I think Skip Schumacher was the youngest manager in MLB history. 45. But yeah, he's I don't know what he's doing now. What is he doing now?
What's he up to? I was thinking, by the way, of Tony La Russa when he as a White Sox manager.
Oh yeah,
in
he
2022.
was like falling asleep in the dugout and then someone recorded. Yeah, he was a mess with that team.
Oh my goodness.
So we're
Oh,
seeing
wait.
him.
His MLB stats, Tony La Russa, not great.
Was he a catcher?
I don't know what he was, but he only got 35 hits.
Wow.
Tell you that much.
Oh, geez. You barely played then, huh?
I mean, according to this Wikipedia page, which could be incorrect.
Skip is not going to.
Oh, that's right.
Get managed to manage another team, probably. I don't know. At least not anytime soon. Ryan Hannigan is on the track. He's going to be the Reds manager in 2031.
Oh boy.
I'm predicting.
Okay.
2031. Ryan Hannigan, Reds manager.
All right.
Okay.
I'm still.
are
I'm
they
pulling for
now?
Shebler.
Where are they now? Shebler wasn't. Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
We'll see.
as manager. Yeah.
Yeah. Next one on that 2010 team, outfielder rhymes with Briss Bisley.
Oh man. Is it Piss Paisley?
It's Chris Heisey. Chris Heisey, outfielder for the
Oh.
Reds. You might know him for being one of our best hitters in a slow August. I don't know. But he is now an owner of a sports training center called Heisey Sports Training. He is the
Heisey.
lead owner, the lead trainer. Chris Heisey is a central Pennsylvania native, grew up in Mount Joy. He attended Donegal High School, where he played baseball and basketball. And now he is helping you train and get to professional sports leagues.
So this is just like basic athletic training. This isn't baseball specific. Is he just saying like, hey, like run a lap?
No, he's no, yeah, they he's just for everything.
So he's just like a
they're doing
fitness guy.
Okay, here it is. Baseball, basketball, speed
Okay.
and agility. All right.
Okay.
Speed and agility. So he has baseball and basketball training and speed and agility. That's what he does.
So it's baseball, basketball, speed and agility. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And that's Chris Heisey doing that.
Chris Heisey's running it, dude.
He's running
doing
it.
There's two trainers. The other guy's Johnny Heisey. Oh, it's his brother, I think. Okay, so him and his brother made this company, and I think they're just like helping young athletes
For baseball or basketball.
speed and agility.
Yes. Speed and agility. That's just a wide range of just like, do you move well?
Yeah,
What's
but
like-
I think
what is agility? Just like how quick you start moving? Is that what they're talking about?
it's acceleration.
Okay, then what's agility?
It's like I think it's like pivoting really fast.
So it's like changing your direction.
Yeah, changing your direction.
That's just accelerating in one direction. It's just what I
Well,
said.
like, no, it's not like you're accelerating. It's like if I could just like,
yeah.
you know, that's agility. You know.
If it's changing your acceleration quickly from one direction to another.
Yeah, I guess you can.
So
look at it
I think I was right. All right, I took physics in high school, and I think I got a B. All right,
that's pretty good.
that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
but
Better than Spanish.
Miss
Yeah.
Ortega.
Oh boy,
Thinking Miss Ortega's watching this shit.
I hope so.
Mrs. Ortega, I think. I don't remember.
I think I think we had a different teacher.
All right, Chris Heisey, good job with your athletics company, sports agility, baseball, basketball, speed and agility.
I'd love to come down sometime.
Where is this based?
Is it in Pennsylvania?
Harrisburg,
PA, baby.
Harrisburg, PA. Yeah, is that the capital? Right.
It's in Pennsylvania. I know that much. So it's
Is
only
it
a
capital?
you just have to take the J train and you're good. You just go on
No,
down there, mosey on down.
I take the A train to Grand Central Station.
Mm,
And I take no. I take the A train.
here we go. This is a new segment of the show called Mitch has lived in New York for almost 10 years. And he tries to remember directions.
The J train. We're not gonna do this. Chris Heisey, thank you, baby, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, next one.
Yeah.
Next one for the 2010 team. He is a pitcher. He
Not
is
this 2010 team, huh?
it's only the 2010 team this week.
Oh, okay.
Next week it's going to be a different year.
Okay.
So the 3 players from each year. That's the segment, guys. Logan Ondrusik. Remember that name?
That does not ring a bell.
Really? Relief pitcher for the Reds.
Now remember, my baseball knowledge starts with like 2016.
We're a low IQ High Sox.
That's true.
We are.
And proud.
Logan Jared Ondrusik played for the Reds. He came up with the Reds in 2015. So, or not 15, 2005, I think. Yes. 2010. Way off. He had 5 years with the Reds and 1 with Baltimore. And he got out of MLB at 31. He's 40 now. And what is he doing, you ask? He is playing for the Yucatan Leones of the Mexican Baseball League at 40 years old.
Okay. So this was more of a less of a choice and more of a my ability is no longer MLB quality. Is that what this is? Because I mean, if you're the same age as Justin Turner, at 40, which is not many 40-year-olds can play MLB. I'll tell you that much. Very few. I'm not even sure Justin Turner can, but at least he's there. So I have such a little understanding of Mexican League baseball and how competitive that is, because there's a lot of players who, had a decent stint in the MLB and they're still playing. Like, I don't know what that skill drop off is. Where is it between the affiliate teams and the single, double, triple A and like college baseball?
Yeah.
Where does it fit into all of that?
I bet most MLB AAA teams could beat anybody in the Mexican League.
Yeah.
I think they'd probably be on par with like a double A if I just were to guess. Something like a double A team in the US. Maybe slightly better, slightly worse. But yeah, and then as far as world baseball, I think Japan is obviously the NPB is probably the second best league in the world. And then probably the Korean League. The KBO. Could be butchering this, could be forgetting all this. So yeah, KBO would be 3. And then I guess it's just a toss-up between like Taiwan and I don't know. DR maybe? Yeah, DR, Puerto Rico. And then I guess Mexico is probably sitting in like 8th place, something like that.
So wow, I don't know. That just seems like a. I just think of the journey that Trevor Bauer took, where he was with the Reds, then briefly with the Dodgers, and then he, on his own accord, decided to play baseball in Japan, and now I'm pretty sure he's in a Mexican league. So,
why I chose Japan.
Yeah, why I chose Japan. Exactly.
Every time he moves to a new country, he's like, why I chose Mexico. Why I chose Korea. It's the same thumbnail. It's always like the ball. Like
it's funny how like he was doing that kind of like production, like higher quality vlogging for especially an athlete when he was still playing with the Reds. I remember like being kind of into that. Like it was pretty cool to get that behind the scenes look of him, doing his training regimen and whatever, like making a shake. He's the one that I saw like, he put oatmeal, like dried oatmeal into his shakes. I do that now. It's a great idea. Like just
What
the
do you mean?
oats. You just put the oats, not oatmeal. I misspoke. You just put like dry oats in your like protein shake or whatever, a fruit smoothie. You just pour that
Oh.
shit in there. Tastes great. Blends up nicely.
I don't think Trevor Bauer invented
He
that, but
invented that. No, he
no, he
he was the first one to do it. Him and Quaker were like tight knit, dude. They were working together. And he's
yeah.
like, I got this crazy idea.
He's like that old man with the hat. Is that what
Yeah.
you're talking about?
Yeah.
With the beard?
No, he doesn't have a beard. He's just an old man with a hat. Can Quakers have beards? I don't know. Can they have more or less hair than the Yankees? The dumbest rule, which sort of doesn't exist anymore. It's sort
It's
of
gone. It's over.
okay. There's a guy on the Yankees right now with a beard, a full beard.
Yeah.
Or whether look up their roster right now.
Oh, really?
I don't know. That's my question to you.
I think it's like they lifted the band, but I think it's almost like the first person who does it is like gonna look like
shamed.
a culture ruining the culture of the Yankees. My door
Oh.
opening.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Yeah, I do see that.
That's my cat. I'm not kidding.
He wants
That's-
in. Look at him.
Look, he's opening it. He literally is about to open that door.
I think he can do it.
Look, he did it.
Come on, buddy. Just push through. You don't know how far you've come. Yes.
We got that shit.
Yes.
What's up?
But
Hey.
big, strong boy.
Oh, that's great. So yeah, Logan Ondrusik. It is cool that you're right. Trevor Bauer did some really cool stuff with his video production stuff, and actually, his videos are unfortunately really good. Momentum is well produced, and it's.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
I mean, to have like that sort of access to a professional, something that's unprecedented. So it is cool that he had that access. It just sucks he's an asshole.
Yeah.
But his videos
Unfortunate.
are really good. They're unfortunately pretty good look at like the daily life of a pitcher, of an athlete, training for baseball, the hardships he goes through with like his arm, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm an avid watcher, but I've just peered into it. He is a ridiculous guy as well, in a negative sense.
Yeah. Besides the obvious complaints I would have about him as a person, the one thing that always bugs me is when he's just like, hey, what kind of pitch, like in a game. I think I saw a video semi recently of his, and like I mean this in the past year or two, where he was pitching against guys who were trying to like get a spot on a team, or like, scouts were watching. And I think he was like, hey, what kind of pitch you want? Oh, it doesn't matter what, if you know it or not, I'm still gonna strike you out. Like he has that kind of like cocky attitude, which is like, it's like I want to like that, but it just comes across as like you're just being a dick. I don't know.
Yeah,
It
I don't
seems
like that.
so much. It seems forced.
I mean, it was fun when he was on the Reds because he would say stuff like that, and you'd be like, "Oh shit! Like this guy's
Mhm.
crazy. How fun!"
Right.
But
Right.
then when you face it and you're watching him as like a fan, as a fan of a different team, you're like, "This guy sucks. Like,
Yeah.
what is he so annoying?"
Right.
And he did end up becoming that for me, and yeah, but his videos are pretty good. So
hmm
that's not a go check it out, but
Yeah, it's not an endorsement for Trevor Bauer.
yeah, that's not an endorsement for Trevor Bauer. We did get some of the comments that one time about Pete Rose when we were talking about Pete Rose. And
Oh, yeah. Well,
we don't have to get into that.
no,
Yeah.
no. But I think I don't know.
These aren't endorsements. We're not endorsing Pete Rose, for instance, in this conversation
Yeah.
as a person. But this is just us talking about what they're doing professionally or how the league is interpreting them. And
Right.
so it's nothing to do with an endorsement of Trevor Bauer or Pete Rose.
It's
Not
kinda
that we
hard
need to
to
clarify that anyway.
No, no. I don't know if there are very few athletes that I'd be, like, pretty confident in and to be like, "Oh, I wanna look up to this guy as a premier example of an athlete and, someone who has strong, values and whatever, they speak up for what's important to them." There are very few people that I attach my own values to because, like, 1, I don't need someone who's an athlete just because I like the sport that they play and they're good at it, or I like the team that they're on. I don't really need them to corroborate my viewpoints.
Mhm.
It's fine. Maybe Votto, if I had to choose one. Votto's a cool guy. He
Vaughn
seems
will always
chill.
always be good and chill, please.
Always be. I mean, when he grew out his beard, dude. Come on,
Yeah.
Daddy Votto, are you kidding me? He's playing chess in the park, and he's like, "I got my ass handed to me by an 8-year-old girl. It was awesome, man. She's so good." But
Yeah.
he's living it up. He was having a good time, and um, I think I don't know. I wanna um force my own viewpoints and political beliefs or whatever onto another guy, even if it's a cool guy like Votto. But from
Yeah.
what they've shown, respect the
Mhm.
hell out of that guy.
Yeah, yeah. I think you always want the guys on your team and the team that you watch, the people who play for that team, you want them to reflect some semblance of like what you like about the world and
Mhm.
your morals, your values. You want to see that signified in broad terms into the team, into the city that you root for, and by extension, the players. Unfortunately, that almost never happens,
No, no,
especially when you're a professional athlete and your day to day life and your resources and your finances are vastly different than most Americans. So you're going to have different perspectives, you're going to have different values. Um, that goes without saying.
mhm,
But yeah, it is unfortunate. I know what you mean because you want to see just by a tribal type of like group think, you want to see your team that you like reflect the ideas that you believe in.
sure,
Um,
yeah. I mean, cut this part if you want, but it's why it's partly trolls, but partly just people when they see a post from a team that's celebrating Pride Month now that it's June. Is just like this polarizing amount of hatred that comes out of that, seemingly out of nowhere. Um, that is like incredibly divisive, at least to like an internet fan base. I don't think it's really divisive outside of that. I mean, it could obviously lead to that point, but uh, people are attaching their own values, and when a team says that no, we're okay with this, we're cool with this, don't worry, this is what we stand for. People have at least minor backlash, or I'm sure some people have canceled season tickets out of it or something like that.
mhm.
But
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
just it's hard.
that is
It's hard. It is hard though if your team doesn't represent your values too. I've
unfortunate.
seen some recent posts on Reddit from certain fan bases feeling certain ways about what teams did or did not do. Um,
Mhm. Yeah, it is interesting that that conversation seems to always be brought up about, well, this team did like an excessive military thing, or they showed, Trump came and did something
mhm.
at the stadium one day or something like, you know,
At a
um,
Nationals game, I know. at
and
least
then
the,
I mean, he did seem like he was at like quite a few Nationals games, especially when they won the
at
World
least
Series.
two,
Yeah,
at least two.
at least two. He's at the Braves World Series
Oh,
game.
maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah,
That's what it was. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so everybody wants their team to be associated with their thinking. And it is unfortunate to see a lot of people bash that when the
Mhm.
team is just trying to be kind of a voice of the fans that it has,
Sure.
in some respects,
Yeah.
and whether that's motivated by money or actual like empathy, is a question that we don't know the answer to. But I think that some people see that and they say you're representing these people and like you're doing a pride night, and that doesn't represent what I value, and then it turns to hate, and sucks to see that. But it is all motivated by just wanting those your ideas reflected into the sports that you consume and the
Sure.
entertainment that you watch. That's a part of what makes
Yeah.
you brands you in a certain political socio belief.
Yeah. I mean, especially if it's something that to a lot of people represents at least, a small sliver of who they are as a person, you know.
Mhm.
I'm a
Yeah.
father, I'm a avid
Mhm.
runner, I'm a Reds fan, that's a part of
Mhm.
who a lot of people are. So if just I don't know. I guess I would
Yeah.
disassociate myself if I thought, let's say the Reds said we're gonna start, throwing all the kittens into the Ohio River, I'd be like, I'm gonna, distance myself from that team. But obviously that's a clear wrong thing. And a lot of,
Mhm.
what these teams are doing now is not a clear wrong thing.
No,
So
no,
big
and
difference there.
there's nothing wrong with trying to, like I said, either you're pandering or either you're being genuine. I think the perspective is sort of the same, or it can land the same for a lot of people, and that's
Mhm.
saying like, "Oh, I'm gay and I'm included in this," and I don't think there's anything wrong with teams expressing stuff like that, but it
Yeah.
unfortunately provokes a lot of ignorant responses in a lot of comment sections across the internet.
Yeah. At least for a month.
At least for a
And
month,
then it'll
and then
die down, and
not
then
even a month, and then it's just
right,
over. And
then I'll
yeah,
restart. Yeah.
so, but yeah, that's why sports are so important because there's, like, it's a part of culture. It's a part of our, cultural, uh, cultural cash to
Mhm.
say that this is the culture that I'm included in, and this is what my culture represents. It
Yeah.
represents, my home, my town, the community, and the sports team, the bar, like, the community, the friends that I have, and all of that's all connected. So it can get really messy, but it's also beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's a tight balance. Find out who you are, folks. Represent yourself before you let other people represent you. Tell you that much. Brother or sister.
That's very diplomatic.
Yeah. Well, I think saying brother at the end of my sentences is maybe a catchphrase I've caught on to. Brother?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
one.
noticed that actually. It's good.
Yeah.
I should just say baby.
I got my wife doing it after we
Brother.
met. She she like, "Did you take the trash out, brother?"
I can see her saying that, but she'll say brother with like a really deep voice.
Brother. Yeah, like that. Yeah. Uh-huh. Exactly.
Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway, hey, to all the low IQ people out there, that's what we call our fans. The
you
low
low IQ.
IQers.
It's like Insane Clown Posse. Call them what do they call them?
Oh, well, they're ICP.
Gigolos. Gigolos.
Gigolos. Gigolos.
I thought a gigolo was a male. Like,
I think it is. Or is that a juggalo? That's a genuine question.
leave it in the comments below. like and subscribe,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. Leave that in the comments and what you're gonna do for Pride. Hey,
What
Pride
are you gonna
Night.
do for it?
Pride Night Cincinnati Reds coming up, I think June 6th. I always have a cool hat. So if you go down there, you get a hat, free hat.
Free hat.
Yeah. For me, you know what? I'd take pride in that free hat.
I will take a free hat anytime there's a free hat.
Absolutely. So to all the low IQers out there, I hope this did lower your IQ just like a few points. That's our guarantee every week. We all get collectively a little dumber together. But we can do it talking about something that we care about.
The last episode of the season, I hope that we're just making guttural noises like
just single-celled organisms at that point. We just devolve.
just moving around on the screen in the petri dish.
Yeah. It's like the little squiggles you get in your eye.
Golf tournament silence.
Oh man, for the invertebrates producing this podcast.
I miss Ben.
Ben was really the glue that held us together, huh?
He
He kept us honest.
kept us too smart, to be honest.
True.
We need to get dumber, not smarter.
Yeah, we'll dumb down Ben next week. I'm sure of it. We'll get him on our level.
Hell yeah. Can't wait.
All right. Well, listen,
All
any
right.
closing thoughts that you have? We usually talk about who's coming up next in the schedule, but we've already kind of done that, and it's a little something.
Keep your socks higher. What would you say?
I think I said keep your hopes high and your socks higher.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's my final thoughts.
Okay.
Let's say it at the same time.
Okay. We can try.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Keep your socks high.
High.
Wait, or no.
And your hopes.
Is it the other way around?
Keep your hopes high and your socks higher.
I guess it doesn't matter. Keep your socks high and your hopes higher, or keep your hopes high and your socks higher, depending on what kind of person you are. And that's fine with me. As long as you do one of those things, you're okay with my book.
Keep your hopes high and your socks higher.
Yeah. Take it easy.
Take it easy.
Good day, baby.